So, do we have it? So we have it? All right. I didn't do a sound check yet. I didn't do a sound check. Does anybody got a sound check for me? Sound check? Okay, use the restroom real quick. All right. I had to look. Before I put my headset on, I wanted you to see my dope ass fucking afro that I worked about 15 minutes before I got on. It's going to go all to shit when I put my headset on. So if you don't know, recognize the real deal. I still got my hair, and that's not even covering my hairline, bro. That shit's tight. Anyway, listen. Enough vanity. Gonna ruin it. I ruined it. All right, so let's hope you can hear me. Let's see my volume. My volume. All right, listen. Sorry about that little hiccup starting up. Welcome to Nightcap. My name's Nate. You know the deal. Brought to you by Smashing the Party. Tonight, I'm gonna puff on my inhaler quick. And I'm gonna talk. Martin Luther King Day, of course. It happened. I did a short one. I didn't want to do a long one. I was over at a friend's house last night, so thanks for tuning in. For the 17 people that watched it, I appreciate it. I'm not boosting the shit anymore, by the way. So if you're looking at my views thinking I'm going downhill, I'm going backwards. I don't give a shit about views or numbers right now. This year is basically to hone my craft and get my shit tight, start producing YouTube videos and all that jazz. So that's my little disclaimer. If you're coming in and you're like, what the hell, who's this guy? Listen, stay tuned because it's going to be something. Anyway, tonight I'm going to talk about the fucking democracy we're trying to protect. And the whole point of Smashing the Party is to try to, we live in a democracy, First Amendment rights. I'm utilizing that. I'm screaming it to the clouds. Hopefully someone's listening. But the whole point of this whole fucking charade is to try to change hearts and minds so we can have people thrive. Enough of this bullshit. We're living in this fucked up system. Not even get into the problems with capitalism. And no, I'm not a fucking socialist. I'm not a Marxist, all that shit. I'm just a pragmatist. Just like, what the fuck works? This isn't working. It's working for maybe you. It's working for me. It's not working for everybody, and that's fucked up. But larger than that, the point I'm trying to make tonight, or I'm gonna make tonight, is, we're sitting here with the Congress dicking around on Martin Luther King Day, all posting their quotes. And the big deal that happened, the biggest legislation, the biggest policy change that happened across the country is fucking voting restrictions. That was the play that Republicans made when they got the state houses in the last election. That's the play they made when they fucking launched their racist school board bullshit, which Justin, you fell for, you fuck. That's the fucking play. The play is to restrict and obfuscate the truth. I don't get it. If you're Republican, I want to know, what the fuck is the agenda? Is it just to stop the Democrats and everything's fine? Because that's all I'm seeing. So tonight I want to just talk a little bit about voting and how that is important to us. I mean, this is, again, I'm not a fucking policy specialist, but this is just kind of common sense to me. Don't get distracted by the magnificence, the awe-inspiring fro. I'm serious tonight. This is true. This is real deal stuff, because right now we're losing our ability to make changes in the future by them allowing the Republicans to restrict voting rights. So that's why it's so important. And I'm going to just talk about that. And then I want to just kind of key in on like the core, my biggest frustration with one of the parties. The Democrats, always placating to their base, saying they're going to do things, have good intentions, don't have the balls to do it. Republicans, on the other hand, I just want to know, what the fuck is the agenda? What's the end game? I talk about end game here. If you're talking about a policy, or you're talking about restricting something or changing a law, if you don't think about where you want to go, then that's fucking stupid. It's stupid. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. If you're just like, I need to pass this law because of school shootings, okay, what's the implications of that law long term? Does that mean it's going to infringe on another right? That's a valid concern for Republicans that are gun-toting fanatics. That's a valid concern for Democrats that are gun-toting people. I say that because I'm not opposed to people owning guns. I've said it before, and all my fucking liberal Green Party friends lose their shit, but I don't care if you fucking have a tank. The problem is, what I say, in order to be able to have a tank, you need to have super certification. It may take like years for you to get that. It's a special, more than a helicopter, more than a plane. If you have the ability to have a weapon that can destroy or kill people, and you want to put that under the guise of the Second Amendment, because it's really arms, right? We should be able to have nukes if you want. If you want to fucking go there, and I'm not suggesting that, but look, I'm going along with you guys. I'm saying, look, you can have your fucking stupid little big dick toys, okay? You can have all of them, but guess what? You're going to go through some fucking shit. You're going to have like a PhD, maybe 2 PhDs in tank operating, and so that might take you 16 years to get your certification. So there's going to be natural educational barriers to entry to have those weapons. And so if you tone that down to an automatic rifle, if you want to have an automatic rifle because you like to go to the range and just blow shit up, okay, I get it. I've shot one. I don't mind it. It's fun. I enjoyed it. But guess what? You're going to have registered. You're going to have to maybe do psychological profiling. I don't give a fuck. But you can have it. So if you really are gung-ho about your little big dick toys, then in my world, you're going to have restrictions. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to try not to go fucking hours, but once I get started and that my own voice starts to hypnotize myself and I just keep blathering, I can't stop. But tonight I'm going to try to stop just because I really spent some time on this afro. Look, I'm 47. This shit's not going to be here longer, so this is a glorious moment for me. All right, anyway. Let's talk about voting. And so during the last election, of course, we know the fucking Trump lie that he spread. He started, early 2020 when he was, when he was, I guess he was under impeachment 1 at that point, or impeachment 2 maybe, or he was doing shit that was fucked up, or if he was fucking his porn star. One of the 10,000 scandals this fucking emperor with no clothes that you fucking voted for was in. Something was happening, okay? But he knew he was going to lose. He saw his fucking polls, and he saw the poll numbers, and the consultants were telling him, look, dude, you got to change it. There's no change in him. So he was bound to lose. So he started kicking out the big lie, suggesting that Democrats are going to cheat. And you know what? All of a sudden, Democrats and Republicans became, voter registration and voter law experts on cheating the system during his election and during the second one. He geared it up so in case he lost to Hillary Clinton, which he did lose to Hillary Clinton. He lost the popular vote, which I don't even know what the fuck the Electoral College is for. I do, but it's fucking stupid. It's another power grab to allow the folks at the top to say, all right, we can make changes. Of course, no one's ever overturned the elector. You know, they typically vote with their state. But they were trying everything this year. They were saying, hey, the electors don't really have to vote the way the state's do. And then they forged some shit. So they forged some shit to say that the electoral certification from 2 states was a certain way. This is coming from the Republican Party. If you look at all the tricks and the fucking maneuvers that happened during the last election, it came from the Republican Party. If you look at the fucking voter fraud that was caught, or that people that got caught, they were Republicans, other than the fucking black lady that got 5 years in jail for accidentally voting twice because she didn't realize that, or she voted because she had a felony and she wasn't allowed to. So other than that, most of the fucking incidents of voter fraud happen from the Republican side. So again, I have said this so many times, it's a fucking projection play. So again, they're projecting, hey, look, we're doing this problem, so we got to solve it. It's probably the same thing with gay marriage. I'm not kidding. I mean, it's all fucking projections from this motherfucking side. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. As soon as if you see a Republican going anti-porn, you can bet your bottom dollar that motherfucker has terabytes of shit on his fucking drive. I'm telling you, it's just fucking weird how they kind of have to kind of externalize their problems and project. Rather, Democrats can be like, yeah, you know, Anthony Weiner, yeah, I did it. I'm weird. I sent him dick pics. He's out. I'm not saying, by the way, I loved Anthony Weiner. What a fucking way to go down with that last name. Hello. Anthony Weiner goes down with a dick pic. Jesus Christ, you can't make it any, you can't even rate that shit. But the point is, you know, he was a freak. He got busted for it. Republicans are freaks. They usually try to legislate against the freakness, and I think that somehow placates them from their inside turmoil, I guess. But do you think I'm lying? Check the fucking record. Who the fuck is fighting against people getting married and doing what they want in their bedroom? Who is fighting against people having control over when a woman fucking ovulates? I mean, Christ, that's pretty much what it is. When they're going to ovulate again, right? They're saying, hey, you got to be pregnant. So, and of course, you know, they're the ones that are having their mistresses having abortions and so forth. I'm not saying, look, I don't have anything wrong. I don't even have anything against having a mistress having an abortion. What I have a problem with is when you're sitting there and campaigning against these things and you're doing the opposite. So voting is one of those things where it's like, you know, look into the states where Mitch McConnell, there's all kinds of conspiracy. I'm gonna be a little Joe Rogan-esque today and just spout some conspiracy nonsense. But, you know, if you look into South Carolina and you look into Kentucky and you look at their voter rolls and you look at what changed when they got electronic voting, there's some weird shit going on. There's people on Twitter trying to, you know, gin up some conspiracy around it, but it's weird. It's just odd that all of a sudden now that you have electronic voting with your preferred provider, all of a sudden now you have these clear victories and voting turnout doubles and everything else. It's just kind of bizarre. So my thing is, why the fuck do we have one party trying to restrict the core tenet of what makes a democracy? Like, that's it. That's the only thing that makes a democracy is everyone gets to participate and you get to vote. That's it. That's the fucking definition. We all contribute. We all get a vote. We have representation, obviously. It's a lot more than that. And you can talk about whether representation is even real today. Do they really represent us? They represent the rich people on a map. That's about it. And they make sure they cut out the folks that may be against their shit. But we have this whole entire party that's done nothing but try to restrict voter rights after Trump. And of course, it came from their leaders spouting their nonsense. And unfortunately, you have folks like Lloyd Smucker, who's our representative. I don't get it, Lloyd. I really don't fucking get it. Lloyd went to fucking down to Congress and he said, you know what? We think there's a problem with the voting. Well, wait a second, Lloyd. You just got reelected. Not mine, not the one that I won. I'm talking about the presidential. So it's just the presidential one that's problematic. And so I'm going to try to turn over the will of the people. That's what the fuck Lloyd Smucker did. Okay, that's our fucking representative. This is the clown we have representative that says, hey, you know what? I'm safe, but I don't like the result of this because for whatever reason, after the K-pop picture with him in the fucking plane, like cheesing with Trump's hand on his lap and shit, that shit fucking went, that was like when I realized that Lloyd is no longer Lloyd Smucker from Lancaster County. He's Lloyd Smucker, the sycophantic congressman that fillets a fucking emperor with no clothes. I mean, that picture says it all. He's cheesing with the fucking clown. And he then bought the lie, went to Congress and said, you know what, I'm going to buy it. And he did the dance, and he got all of his people. And Brian Cutler's doing the same thing right now, where he's like, oh, there needs to be an audit. What they did is they went in the back room and said, what can we say and do that will support the president, but that's still legal? And so they did everything they can because they knew they were supporting a lie, but they went through the legal ramifications. And so now Lloyd can say, look, this was just, there's nothing wrong with taking a look at it. If it's fine, it's fine. No, that wasn't the plan. That wasn't the plan, Lloyd. You know what the fucking plan was. The plan was to overturn the will of the people. And so what I have a problem with right now on the day after Martin Luther King Day is you've got all the pie-in-the-sky fucking quotes coming from the right and the left. Of course, it's Martin Luther King Day. Everyone fucking loves to post their shit. I did. I posted 2. I got my 2 in, okay? I had to get 2. But you got everybody posting their shit, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? It doesn't even make sense what you're posting. You don't even understand what he was marching for, why he did what he was doing. He was doing it against the system. You're not doing anything against the system. You're essentially saying the system is fine. Your vice president got on national TV while a fly was taking a shit on his head and told everyone that there's no such thing as systemic racism, when we know there's ordinances all over the fucking country that had to do with systemic racism that said, like, for instance, the Birmingham, Alabama parade certification that Martin Luther King said, fuck you, I'm not taking it. I'm doing my fucking protest anyway. That was written to make sure that he couldn't protest. So, I mean, these are all, and that was in 1963. And of course, do you think all those laws got rolled back that were happening when this whole pressure, you see what they did. You see what Republicans did when they believed the lie that Donald Trump did. They went across the country and basically blanketed the country with anti-voting laws. And when I say anti-voting, I've actually had arguments with some of you motherfuckers that think it's okay to wait in line. It's not okay to wait in line to vote when you're fucking on a shift, when you're a shift worker. It's not okay to wait in line to vote when that's the only time you can actually, like, you really can't leave your house, or because you have children, or for whatever reason, you're disabled, or you just, like for whatever reason, Republicans decide to make sure that there's only one fucking polling place amongst like 75,000 people of color, and the suburban neighborhoods have fucking like basically mobile fucking voting centers. That's what the fuck they did. And so you go back and you look at what happened during Martin Luther King's Day, and you think that Birmingham, Alabama was the only place that said, you know what, we got to fucking stomp this shit we got to stomp this shit out. And so I guarantee you that Birmingham, Alabama was just where he decided to go, but I guarantee you that every single fucking city across America was looking at that, or town was looking at that. Even Democratic cities, because of course then it was fucking flipped. It was flipped up, the parties were flipped. But when you have that kind of fear instilled in your base, you're going to easily be able to get everyone to buy into any stupid shit that you want. For instance, the CRT thing is just fucking blowing my mind. The folks that bought into that, like, it was such a fucking play. It was such a play that you bought into, and you actually got scared that your kids were going to be like indoctrinated for what? Like, what is the fucking, like, did you even know what CRT was before you saw it on Fox News or Tucker Carlson told you it was bad? No. But that fear, even kind of switches even rational folks on the Republican side to say, you know what? We need to do whatever we can to stop the Democrats. So it leads me to my next point. Actually, let me just throw this in there. By the way, there's no evidence that voter fraud is a big deal. There's no evidence that voter fraud anywhere across the country changed any election. In the last 25 years, since they've been counting, none. But somehow, this is a fucking problem. Because, again, they love their boogeyman. They had their Donald Trump fucking waving his fucking balls in their face. They couldn't see what was going on. And so, of course, he says, you know what? I'm going to lose this election. There's no way I can lose this election. Look how fucking awesome I am. Look at Biden. And, of course, you don't want the Democrats to win. Of course you don't. That's not your team. So then you fucking sycophantic followers, sheeple, as you like to call me, you end up saying, yeah, you know what? What's the big deal? Let's look at voter fraud. It's not a fucking thing. It's not a thing. It's a distraction. Leads me to my next point, which is like, what is the fucking agenda? What is the end game? I can say, you know what? Democrats right now, at least supposedly, are trying to get, at least it's in their let's just talk about their platform. Let's not talk about what they're doing. Because, again, that's problematic. I'm not going to give Democrats a pass. But let's just talk about what's in their platform. Healthcare for all. Lowering cost of all kinds of commodities. Lowering the cost of energy. Trying to save the planet. Trying to make sure that what you do in your bedroom is yours and whatever you want. If you want to get married to your gay friend or your trans friend or whatever it is, or your trans child wants to participate in sports, they're pushing for that. You know what? They're pushing for it. And I don't say we. I hate when I say we because I'm only we right now because that's the only rational fucking party right now. And they're not even rational. But if you look at their agenda and you look at what they're trying to fight for, they're all things that are good things. Like, they're not bad things. They're not things that are going to hurt you. Nothing's going to hurt you. If you look at the end game of the Republican agenda, I don't know what it is. Remember I talked about how when they had the opportunity to rewrite the Republican platform, all they did was put a little resolution in the front that said, we're going to fillet Donald Trump for another 4 years. That's what they said. We're going to suck his dick for another 4 years. I know I'm fucking brash tonight. I really don't care. Afro's fucking popping, so fuck off. But here's the truth. If you have a party that's their signature effort is to essentially create fear that your children are being indoctrinated, and then they call themselves the party of parents. That's really what they're doing. And then you have that same party say, we really believe in democracy, but we want to do everything we can to make it difficult. They're not putting these laws in to make it easier to vote. They actually instilled somebody in the post office to fucking shut shit down because they were nervous about mail-in voting. What the fuck is that? We kind of just let that happen. I'm surprised that the president has that much power. I'm hoping Biden can fix it. I haven't been following that story because it disgusts me. It was so obvious that you have somebody that's in a position of power at the post office shutting down buildings, turning down sorts. I worked in logistics. I worked at UPS. I understand how sorting works. I understand how the logistics work. I understand the system. And so it's not very difficult to have somebody say, you know what, those 2 loads, save them for tomorrow. Those 4 loads, save them for tomorrow. Let's stop these 4 loads from going out to Burtonsville, Maryland, because we want to kill it. So we're going to cut down that shift. Look at me. I'm saving money. Look, I'm saving the post office money. I already saved them $500 million. Well, no, you didn't. The post office, first of all, is a service. It's fucking in the Constitution. It's a service. It doesn't need to make a profit, you fucking animals. It doesn't need to make a profit. You understand that? It's something that is a service. Not everything has to make a profit. Not everything has to make some kind of chaff that rich people can siphon off. Sometimes the chaff and the profit is mobility. For instance, in public transit, it should be free. Guess what the payoff is? Mobility. That's a huge win. Imagine if airline travel was free. I know you're fucking going out ape shit thinking about it, but imagine the mobility of being able to get on a plane and go anywhere for free. That's the kind of environment I want to see happen. Not because I think people should get free shit. I just think people should be able to do whatever the fuck they want, and especially if we have a collective, why not put our resources together and make it a place where everyone can thrive, even the folks that are struggling. Maybe they don't have the mental capacity. Maybe they don't have the same background as you and I. Maybe they had childhood trauma that fucked them up, and they just are catatonic on a sofa, and that's their fucking life. I don't give a fuck what their problem is. Why can't we make it so the lowest of low get their due? Why can't the lowest of the low thrive? And if you look at the agenda, I know I'm on HD now, so I gotta watch. Make sure I'm not slobbing all over the place. If you look at the Democratic agenda, it typically has things, and that's why they've essentially captured the name or taken the name progressive, because they're hoping to progress things. Conservatives have decided to stop things. So I want to know, what is the end game? Let's magically say that Republicans have all their wishes. What does the country look like then? Take some fucking time and think about it. What does the country look like when every single Republican wish list is fulfilled? It's not fucking what you think it is. Guess what? There's still homelessness. There's still homelessness. People are still struggling. We have done nothing with inequality. Trust me, you haven't. Because Republicans' first play is, Well, it's going to take money, so let's just cut all the revenues of the government. Let's say no taxes. That's the Republican wet dream, is no taxes. So no government. Then of course they think about security, and then of course they're like, well, of course we got to fund the government for security. We need our military. You haven't thought past this fucking point. I've already made you look stupid because you haven't thought about the end game. You didn't think about the end game when you get your magic list. What does the world look like when a Democrat gets their wish list? We don't have homelessness. People can get married and do whatever they want. In fact, you can get a tax benefit if you marry 3 wives. Who fucking cares? Who the fuck cares if you have fucking 5 wives? You fucking weirdos. Who fucking cares? 5 husbands, women. 5 husbands. A woman has 5 husbands. Who fucking cares? Not to be sexist. I'm just saying, like, who cares how you want to do or how you want to live or how you want to do your financial situation? Maybe there's no incentive for anybody that gets married. Maybe we take away all tax incentives for people that get married. Why should they get a tax incentive for having a child? I mean, let's just keep going. Because some of that is some of the Republican wish list. You want all these things that are, you essentially want the government to get out of your way. Then how about you really truly ask the government to get out of their way? Except when it comes to a female reproductive system and abortion, because we're pro-life. We're pro-life. We're pro-life. That's a fetus. That's a baby. That's a baby in there. We're pro-life. So we got to stop that. I mean, come on. You're so full of shit. When you're fucking your mistress and she got pregnant, you had 2. You had 2 abortions, you fucking lying creep. Stop. You're just trying to do that because somehow deep down inside you've found that by championing abortion, somehow that placates all the other troubled turmoil that you have inside you, I guess. I don't know. But what the fuck does it have to do with you're a man. Why the fuck do you care if women have safe abortions? It's so fucking bizarre. It's so bizarre to think that we might as well just start having cameras in everyone's house and make them, just in case you masturbate and lose a load in the toilet. God forbid you do that, right? I mean, I hate to be explicit, but we're talking about, that's what we need to get to the point. We need to make it so ridiculous that what's your end game? Is your end game to have like a timer in everyone's house that says, oh, you're 6 weeks, some kind of ban that prevents you from leaving the house because you can't get an abortion now? What's the end game? What's the fucking end game? And so, when you talk about, I started out talking about voting rights and I ended up on abortion because abortion's the thing that always rallies Democrats or Republicans, even women Republicans. They love that shit too. I have no idea why. I don't know if it's because they're fucking abuse of the patriarch, or they've just been living in the patriarch. They have no other, self-respect, I guess. And I'm going to say that self-respect or maybe respect for other women's situation. Most likely it has to do with them thinking only about themselves and thinking, I would never have an abortion. So they can't fathom somebody else having a reason for abortion, even in the case of rape, for Christ's sake. It's pathetic. So when I look at what is happening in the world right now, there goes my nose. When I'm looking at what happens in the world right now, and I'm thinking, all right, Republicans are doing nothing but stopping progress. And of course you can blame Manchin and Sinema and all that shit. You can blame the Democrats. I'm so tired of hearing that, though. The Republicans just get off scot-free. What is your fucking plan? Well, first of all, they won't acknowledge the problem, so therefore they don't have to come up with a solution. Homelessness isn't really a problem. That's a side effect from irresponsible people that don't want to work, right? You fucks. You fucks, because you've never been homeless, you think that, right? You think that everybody that's on the street is just some lazy fuck or mental disorder. Is that what you think? Wrong. The system literally is built to have a low end at the bottom. It's built that way. But they can't think this far. They're not deep. They're just saying, hey, look, you know what? Democrats want to give free money out, and we can't allow that because we're conservative. Except when we're in charge, then we'll just blow the fucking money like drunken sailors on hookers and blow. I mean, that's what it looks like. You look at the debt that Donald Trump raked up; it was fucking massive. And they were in control of all three legislative branches. If you don't know, man, every time I start getting going, my nose starts going. I don't have my tissue box here. I'm gonna have to go outside and get it. Let me see if I can make it through. No, I'm not gonna be able to make it through. Hold on. messy room. Relax. All right. So, sorry about that. I need to get a tissue box up. Every single time I start getting going, my nose starts running. So, we're talking about this agenda, and I'm wondering, like, where the end game is for Republicans. If you look at the policies for what the Democrats' ideal world is, there's an end game. And I just wonder, like, if we're so kind of tribal that we can't even see the fucking fallacy of our own parties. The fallacy of Democrats is that, or the problem with Democrats, I just ran. Hold on, let me see if I got Taylor sound effects.
Why ya yada? Why ya yada? I don't really know about that.
There you go, Taylor. I've made some of your sound effects. He wanted me to play them. If you look at kind of what the end game is for each party, you can start to understand why, first of all, I align with the Democrat right now, and I'm not really thrilled about Joe Biden, who's going to die in office probably. I'm sorry, Joe, but like I really can't even watch the guy on TV. But before you kind of jump in and say, yeah, he sucks, trust me. I mean, he's like 50 million times better than what the Republicans were bringing to the table. I mean, Trump was disgusting. I told you I would vote for placenta literally after birth, would get my vote before Trump because of that's how disgusting it was. There was no credibility. It was just like this thing that that just spouted shit every day and just sprayed it all in your face and then expected you to be happy about it every day. It was so weird. And then you guys were happy. You're like, oh yeah, this shit's good. I mean, I watched you guys. You're eating it, defending. He's not a race. He's a big. All this shit. You're just shoveling it down like it's a fucking gourmet meal. And that's what really gave me PTSD. Is I'm like, I thought you were kind of smart before, but like you're like allowing this guy to take a dump in your face, and it's so weird. And so that's probably why I don't respect you anymore. I apologize, but it's been hard for me to come around to respecting all the folks that were on the Trump train that are now kind of like cool and friendly with me. I'm just like, yeah, you're still disgusting, dude. You still right there you still got like shit on your face. So, but like when you look at the platforms and you look at kind of where they're going, I just need to understand where Republicans want this country to go. What's their vision of it? Let's say they pass all their voter restrictions laws, and now we have super lines everywhere in the black communities. It's very hard to vote for black folks. We get rid of mail-in voting. We make it super hard for anybody. I mean, you almost have to get a tattoo to fucking vote. Like, you fucking basically stamp your hand, and that shit doesn't wear off for fucking 5 weeks or some shit. And now you have to do it in person, and we limit it to like a very small window because that's when it's optimal for whatever reason, probably white people or whatever that sit at home or housewives that sit at home. But we've optimized the voting system so that, we've got long lines in the cities and the suburbs just having fun voting from the comfort of their home. I mean, that's one vision, I guess. And then I wonder, like, what happens when we just cut all the taxes and revenue? Like, you hate taxes and stuff. They love that shit. It's so fucking, it's just like it's so naive, and it shows the lack of depth. Anyone that says that just shows me that there's no depth to this person. They've caught a cliche that feels good and warms their tummy, but there's no depth. They haven't thought about what no taxes mean or taxes is theft, what it means. They have no idea because that's just what they were told, and that feel good. And now that they're fucking moving houses and shit, and they're selling houses, and they're making 6 figures, now all of a sudden taxes are theft. The fuck is? Yeah, sure, taxes are theft. So is fucking 6% commission, motherfucker. So is 6% fucking commission. Jesus, that is theft. Like, I earned this shit. You fucking typed your shit into the MLS and then fucking sent out an email and a fucking household, and you're getting a fucking $10,000 payout? Get the fuck out of here, that bullshit. I'm not only talking about realtors, by the way. You've got people on Wall Street, people that are working hard, making tons of money, suggesting that somebody flipping burgers isn't working. Oh, what are you gonna do, flip burgers? That's like a minimization to folks. Are you kidding me? Go flip burgers. Go stand in front of a grill for fucking 8 hours. Try it. It's fucking work. Go load a trailer for 4 hours at UPS, 120 degrees. That's fucking work. So just because your work is, you're sitting there as executive of a health company and you're making, high 6 figures or whatever, you're getting big bonuses, you think you're fucking working hard? You think you're working harder than people that are struggling? Get the fuck out of here. There's no one working harder than those people. There's no one managing their money better than poor people, because they don't have much. They have to watch it. So when you say, oh, why they get cell phones? Because it's that's so common. That's really how we communicate today. So you're saying, hey, let's cut them out. They're not allowed to buy cell phones. They can only have razors, only flip phones, right? I mean, this is the kind of mentality that we have with people that have. The haves think that because they have and they've earned their keep, or they inherited a big trust fund or whatever the fuck it is, and now they're fucking, they went to college, got their master's degree, got their MBA, and now they're working as a fucking executive, and all of a sudden they're like, look at those motherfucking lazy motherfuckers. I guarantee you that most of the folks that you're looking down on work harder than your dumb ass does. And so there's this whole kind of elitist pathology that goes on with folks once they start to make it, and you forget where you came from. And this happens on both sides. It's my biggest pet peeve with every fucking buddy that has. Anybody that makes more than $400,000 a year that has a problem with fucking taxes is fucking, like, I want to just say, get the fuck out of here. Are you even a patriot? Do you even understand how things work? Do you think you did that on your own? But this is the ethos of the Republican Party. So when I'm talking about the end game, where they want to go, what does it look like? Is everybody making $400,000, $500,000 a year? No. Is homelessness eradicated? No. Do we still have kids fighting for, fighting to eat and hopefully going to school and getting a meal and struggling to pay it? Of course. They've done nothing to that. Look, taxes is theft. Everything else will fall in line. Tell me that's not their platform. Oh yeah, by the way, black people are scary. Brown people are entering the country. We need to fight. There's a crisis at the border because brown people are entering. I'm not trying to reduce it to, absurdium, but I mean, what the fuck is the platform? What is it? Because I want an opposition party that has good ideas, that's solving real problems, not kind of this made up fear boogeyman that are tied to your religious beliefs about the rapture, for Christ's sake. I mean, I hate to really say it, but the whole, look, he moved the embassy to Jerusalem. It's like, okay, who fucking cares? You guys got all excited about that. Why? Weird ass shit, man. Weird ass fucking shit. So I ask you, what's the end game of the Republican Party? Right now we have this battle going on, and Democrats are looking like idiots. They're probably going to lose the fucking House, the Senate, and the presidency next time just because they're fucking morons and they don't execute. But you're going to have this Republican Party come in, and all they're going to do is they're going to go back to pulling out the fucking tax breaks and basically cutting that's their goal, is to minimize government so it has no oversight so that they can steal more money from it. It's so bizarre. It's so fucking bizarre. And so when I got on today, I wanted to talk about voting, but I really kind of started to get frustrated with the idea that why are they attacking this component of it? Who's behind saying, hey, we need to make it harder for people to vote because of this non-existent voter fraud? It's non-existent. I've mentioned the conversation I had with a friend who insisted that, we need to watch voter fraud. Tell me how it affected anything ever, and show me the data, and I'll buy into it. But when we have 0.01% or something folks dying in the hospital from a disease, and it's like 0.0003% chance of somebody committing voter fraud. But we mobilized the whole troops to fucking write laws against voter fraud. But you know what? We're not going to wear a mask. Even though the hospitals are filling up, we're not going to wear a mask because Democrats and liberals and Trump, and it's like fucking weird ass shit, man. And it's so frustrating seeing really caring about this country, really caring about my neighbors, really caring about the folks that don't have, looking up and saying, you have all the fucking shit you need. You're smoking a cigar, you got the fire burning, everything's fine for you, but you have a problem with fucking redistributing some of that fucking wealth so somebody else can sit by a fire and fucking not work, or maybe sit in a nice air-conditioned office and bark orders and call it work? Get the fuck out of here. Just like the folks that say they're working in Congress, they're not working. It's not work. You haven't worked unless you fucking lived in a trailer 120 degrees in the summer for 5-6 hours. That's fucking work. That's work that can fucking kill you. You're doing work that's like fucking easy. Oh, you got a little fucking anxiety from your fucking, you got to make a 3 o'clock phone call. Big fucking deal. Come on. I did that shit. It did give me anxiety. I hated it. I fucking changed my career because it was so much fucking pain in the ass having deadlines and all that shit. I hated it. But I'm privileged. I'm sitting here talking about my experience because I don't understand how you can live that life which I did, and then kind of look down on folks that don't have it and suggest that you did it on your own. It's pathetic, and it makes me think that, it really kind of gets to the core of why this whole platform is important to me, and that is to change hearts and minds. And I know I'm attacking folks that are, may have the ability to lift me up in certain situations, but I'm not speaking for you. I'm not speaking for you. Most of the people watching this are probably sitting back in the comfort and everything's fine, and they just like to watch Nate go off and see him make funny jokes and all that shit. Fine, I'll take your views. But the truth is, like, the whole point of this program and kind of where I want to go with this is I want to see folks thrive. And that's the end game here. See, I've thought about where I want to go with this. It's not sitting across from Joe Rogan telling me he's a fucking moron making $100 million. It's actually fucking getting some law or some help or somebody that maybe has power or fucking getting enough people to listen to say, you know what? Fuck this fucking system. It sucks. We can do better. It doesn't have to be some Marxist come out of a book from fucking 1930s or fucking even 1800s. I don't give a shit. Why can't we come up with a new one, a better one, something capitalist 2.0? Call it capitalist 2.0 just because I know you get hard-ons over that fucking shit. And except capitalist 2.0 has like a safety net, has health care, and basically all that chaff that rich people are taking, it's basically put it back into the system to build this infrastructure. We get mobility, free transit, all this shit. You still have your capitalism, motherfucker. You earned it, man. You earned it. But let's do something for everyone else. It's kind of why you're part of this country. The same folks that are arguing that tax is theft are the ones that claim the mantle of patriotism. They wrap their arms around the flag, acting as if they're the patriots and the Democrats aren't. Most of the time, they're on my page, hammering me about something, calling me a communist or fucking whatever. But these are the folks that claim to be patriots, but they don't give a fuck about their neighbors. So what is it? What are you patriotic to? Is it the flag? You go ape shit when someone talks about the flag. That's it. Okay, gotcha. So the flag is what it takes to be a patriot. Like, I don't have a flag hanging in front of my house. Does that mean I'm not a patriot? Or, like, where's my level? Like, what's the level? Like, what? All right, level 1, flag in the front yard. Okay, that's level 1. Level 2, if you have a truck and you have a Calvin and Hobbes thing and it's pissing on, like, Obama or some, that's good. It's a little racy. But definitely got to have a Let's Go Brandon shirt, right? And then you're patriotic. Like, what the fuck is patriotic to them? It's like, oh, back the blue. That's right, back the blue, unless the blue is the blue that's preventing our democracy from being overthrown. And then we're like, fuck them. So fucking confusing, so confusing. So my problem today, my points there are a little bit scatterbrained, but I just wanted to freelance because I couldn't get over. Oh, God. So if you felt how soft it is and how dope it feels, it's like, it's absolutely amazing. And you'll never be able to experience this unless you're a brother or sister. I'll tell you right now, it's fucking fabulous. Y'all want to touch my hair, I know, but I'm not going to let you. It's dope. But I started off today talking about, kind of the voting and how it's frustrating to see one party just trying to slam that, especially the day after Martin Luther King. You've got this. They put out their quotes. The next day, they're back to the old shenanigans. And, when we talk about the pendulum swimming, I forgot to make this point. The pendulum swings back and forth, Democrats and Republicans. And it's not, everyone's like, that's just a natural ebb and flow. No, it's not. It's a destructive, cyclical, fucking traumatic ebb and flow. So it's like Republicans fucking smash shit. Democrats come in and try to fix it, but Republicans are like, fuck that, there's no progress. Oops, Democrats got one policy through. Republicans got to smash that. Republicans made some good policy. I don't know what it is. Maybe they gave tax benefits to fucking poor people somehow. But poor people don't pay taxes. That's the problem, Nate. That's the problem. They don't pay taxes. Elon Musk pays more taxes than all these people combined and all these dumb shit. But the pendulum swings back and forth, and it's not like a good thing. I would like to see us fucking go forward maybe and like have maybe this party contributes some good policy. And maybe I didn't think it was good at first, but you know what? The data shows that it works. And maybe this party has another fix. And they both work together to get us through our problems. Right now, they're just like, and there's nothing being solved except you have one party saying, look, we got to stop. We just got to do, anything we got to do is make sure that we don't have books that talk about the history of black people. And we got to make sure they don't vote. And that's real. And then we got to make sure we don't have any taxes. So if we can do those 3 things, we get no taxes, No black people voting or making it difficult. Definitely no black or brown people coming in the country because that's problematic. You can see on Twitter. Go on fucking Twitter and watch all these motherfuckers talking about the Biden border crisis. And if you're on text and you're a Republican, Nate, you should see it down here. I'm not scared. I'll go down there. I'll live right on the border. Brown people do not fucking scare me, especially brown people with no resources trying to get in the country. Doesn't scare me. It doesn't scare me one fucking bit. There's no fucking crisis. Christ, somebody in my family one time posted, they're coming, as if they're fucking, like, are you serious? They're coming? They're coming? God, I blocked her. I don't fucking take that shit. They're coming? Who's coming to get you? Fucking in Pennsylvania. We're like, you're fucking lived in the same fucking house as I did. Who the fuck's coming to get you? No one is coming to get you. So we have, that's how I see the Republican Party. Anti-Brown, anti-voting, anti-taxes, anti-abortion, anti-anything that is fun, for Christ's sake. Why can't I live with my gay buddy? Who cares? No, I'm not gay. I'm just saying, if I was, I'd fucking be out and proud too, motherfuckers. I wouldn't give a shit. Some of you guys, some of you people, you get married and have kids just to hide that shit. Jesus. Seriously, you get married and have kids to hide your gayness? That's pathetic. What a lie you live. And then you go and pass legislation or go and campaign against gays? Come on, brah. Come on. But I know that if we have the end game for Republicans, we're going to have no vote. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to vote. We'll have like 7-day work weeks. Sunday will be the only day of rest because God forbid you work on God's day. We'll definitely have, we'll be friends with Israel until the rapture comes, and hopefully, whatever that Bible story is, it's twisted, by the way. It's like, your Christians are going to be taken to heaven, but the Jews are fucked, I guess, but we need to move their embassy because then it sets things in motion. It's like, look, I'm not hating on Christianity. I'm just hating on the people that are basically pushing that shit on me and making foreign policy decisions based on your personal religious beliefs. So problematic. And then so you got the taxes theft thing, which is the end game. So what I really want to kind of wrap this up and end on a somewhat cohesive note is that what is the end game for your political party? Like any policy that you look at, when you say taxes theft, have you thought through what that means? When you say voter fraud is real, have you really looked at the data? When your congressman or woman suggests that we need to do an audit on the election, but they're sitting there saying, hey, they won, does that not make you go, what the fuck is your problem, Lloyd Smucker, you fuck? Are you still high on the fucking dopamine from the ride in the plane with your buddy? Is that what it is? You got to Google that picture. He's like, I think Donald Trump's hand is on his crotch too. It was weird. But then I talked about kind of the evidence-based. There's no evidence to support voter fraud, so of course they're still passing the law. The agenda. What's the agenda of the Republican Party other than to stop it? And of course we got Joe Manchin and Sinema. I'm not even gonna try to say her name right. I don't care. Sinema and Manchin all doing that thing, but everyone's hating on them when I'm saying our ire should be focused at the Republican Party. We have a party that's not acknowledging real problems. All they're doing is saying no, 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 no. They're a party of no, and they're proud of it. So there's no, they have never ever in their history passed meaningful legislation. If you're going to say if you're going to start going back to the Republicans back in the day and Lincoln, they were liberals. Okay, that's well known. If you don't know that, Lincoln was a liberal. You fuck. He wasn't. The Republicans today aren't the fucking Republicans of then. Okay, it's the party switched. We know that they switched because they so many racists in the Democratic Party got pissed off when they were trying to pass civil rights legislation that they flipped parties. That's what the fuck happened, and that happens from time to time. But no, Republicans and conservatives have not done any meaningful legislation. They've done nothing meaningful for this country. Seriously, none. Any landmark legislation or policy that affected and helped people was not done by a conservative. It was done by a progressive or a liberal. That's just a fact. And if you think I'm lying, maybe you just need to read a book because that's the facts. And so third, I just wanted to add a couple things. Look, I was a little vitriolic tonight, and I was a little bit. I'm pretty fired up about shit right now because I know how bad Joe Biden looks, and it looks like he's going to die any minute. And I hate to say that, but It's why I voted for Elizabeth Warren, and I'm still kind of beefed up and pissed off about it. But, the truth is, I don't hate Republicans. I hate their ideas. I don't hate you because you voted for Trump. I think you're stupid. So, again, I don't want to just put out there that I hate people or, I know that everyone says kindness kills and all this stuff. I'm a kind person, but what I don't tolerate, and I use strong language to emote or try to describe or articulate how I feel about something, just because I use tough language or I say something with force doesn't mean I hate you. It just means I want the fucking point to stick. And I don't mince words when I'm trying to make the point stick. And this is how I operate in one-on-one and with people, and I'm direct, and when I want to make my point, I don't give a fuck. The point's getting made and the language falls where it was, and you can cover your ears or whatever. But the bottom line is it's true. It's a fact. I'm not speaking out of my ass. These are true things. Everything I said about what the agendas of the parties are, that's backed by data. Hold on. So I'm going to have to get that operated on before I get on Netflix. Anyway, so I just want to say, while I tend to be spicy and I tend to use strong language, I have no beef towards anybody. In fact, that's the whole point of this, is I personally believe, I'll share my religious beliefs with you. I personally believe that when you're dead, you're dead. It's a horrible thing, but you're dead. That's what I know. People say you go to heaven and you're going to see your kids and all that stuff. I don't buy into it, okay? And I'm not pushing it. It's a weird fucking philosophy. I'm not hoping anybody buys into it. It's just mine. I just feel like when you're dead, I have no proof, but I just think that's the way it is. But it's motivated me to think about life differently. And it's motivated me to think about the fact that, wow, if that's the case, why the fuck are we allowing all these people to suffer? Why, if you believe that strongly, are we allowing people to sift through shit when it's their only life they have? And so everything I'm doing right now is driven from my affinity for other people, really. And I don't really like people. I don't like you individually. I like collectively, and I believe collectively you should be able to live your life. But I don't want to be friends with all those people. Trust me. I'll just say it right now. I don't know if COVID made me an introvert, extrovert, or whatnot, but I don't really like people, but I think they should have the right to do everything they want. I think they should have the right to thrive. And I think that, anybody that's punching down or preventing folks from thriving needs to get the fuck out of the way. And you're wrong. You're wrong with your philosophy. You're wrong if you're wrapping up your philosophy in religious beliefs. You're even more wrong. So, and I see everybody doing that on my feed, and of course I've got family members, and I love my family. I'm not hating on anyone in particular. I've got family all across the spectrum, sexually and politically, let's just say. But I love them, but I will not stand for the type of shit that I grew up with, which is saying, hey, you need to eat this shit no matter what it is. And that's how I feel about religion. When you're taught religion or indoctrinated or forced or taught fear-based religion, which is one of the flaws I do think was traumatic growing up. Fear-based religion says, hey, look, if you don't do this, you're going to hell. And so when you start to have that philosophy, then everything fearful can manipulate you because everything's fearful. And you know what? You kind of grow up with this fear and trauma. And so now all of a sudden you make decisions based off fear. And so I see that happening, not just in my family, I see that happening everywhere. Fear works, fear sells. And the fear of whatever is one of the most powerful influencers that Republicans have been using to basically take over school boards and get voter registration or voter, to put restrictions on voter and voting and everything else. So that's my opinion. That one is opinion, but most of the stuff I say is fact. All right, so listen. While I was trying to talk about kindness, I wanted to say that I want to be very clear that I'm never advocating any kind of violence. I'm never advocating any kind of bullshit or, harassment of folks other than making sure you harass those that are in power. And so I've talked about this. We're going to start doing it eventually once I get my shit together. But we need to start making calls and start calling these people out. We need to start changing the way they're voting and really put pressure on the folks that are in Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, to do what we want. And that's the whole point of Smashing the Party. So I want to say thank you. The fact that I'm able to do this is awesome. I've been very excited. I bought all this. I acquired some of it. I acquired all these lenses and I got a camera. And so I'm excited about what I can do this summer. And I'm excited about, this year is going to be trial and error, as I told you, but I'm really excited about what the next 2 years are going to look like and how this show's going to evolve. And I wanted to say thank you for letting me do it. Look, I know I'm a little bit controversial. I know sometimes I sting your ears, and maybe you're not proud to say you're my friend and you don't want to share it because you're like, this is your dirty secret that you watch in bed and I put you to sleep or whatever it is. But I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate it, and I love it, and I'm excited about it. And I can't roll out the afro every day, but when I do, I hope you watch, and I hope you appreciate it because this isn't going to be forever. And so I need to maximize that time. But in all seriousness, I'm going to end tonight. You'll see me tomorrow at 10:30 as well, and we'll be going live and doing all the same shit. So I'm going to get out of here, wipe my nose, and maybe go sing some karaoke. Thanks for listening. Peace.